Hello and welcome to the show. This is Bridging the Gap, and I'm here with President co-founder of Operation Talk to Me Johnny, Lisa Mason. Lisa, welcome.
Thanks, Brian. Always happy to chat.
Oh, well, I'm happy to just be a part more of Operation Talk to Me Johnny and kind of getting more of this mental health stuff going. So it's just awesome kind of being on kind of the ground floor of something where as you're starting to get that next expansion. So what is in store for Operation Johnny coming in the future?
Yeah, we're really excited. There's a lot happening and we're really starting to gain some big support, which is fantastic. And feeling a lot more engagement, which is incredible. So, this year we've got our Talk to Me Johnny Memorial Day coming up at the end of May. Really, really excited for this. We've got some cool things happening. So, of course, the inflatable obstacle course and the face painting are going to be back. But we're also adding tricycle races this year for the kids. And we've got some really fun other events coming that day we've got the cadets coming out. They're going to do some demonstrations for us, and they're putting up a whole camping, sort of demonstration and making sure that kids can try on rucksacks and do those types of things. We've got some fun photo stand-ins that we're building right now so they can be a firefighter or be a police officer or CBSA or military, and of course paramedics. So really fun things like that, which I'm pretty excited for. We've got some good engagement from our first responders in the area and hoping that we can get the military out as well. So still working with those guys to figure out what we can get done. But the big thing that I'm really excited for this year is the introduction of a wellness tent. And so we've got a couple of young ladies who are going to come out and teach line dancing for us as an introduction to movement, because movement doesn't always have to be lifting weights and, running and things like that. It can be dance and, something that's a little bit more fun, maybe. And then we've got a woman by the name of Zosha from CK Energize or Energize CK, sorry. And in Chatham, and has donated her time to come out and teach introductory yoga, meditation, and breathwork courses throughout the day. And really being able to marry, this idea that you don't need to be alone, with also some of these really good coping skills and things that can help boost our mental health as well. So, really excited for what that's going to look like throughout the day. I uh I know that we're potentially going to have the Legion pipe band out, so fingers crossed that that works out for us. And then of course, great live music, some amazing vendors this year, and of course our food trucks, Truckin' Mamas, and a couple of others are going to be out. And I know that Truckin' Mamas in particular is a fan favorite in the area. So
That's awesome. And I love that you're starting to see more engagement happening. And with that, you know, you're starting to bring in more vendors, wellness tents. Like it's from if you looked back a few years ago when you first started, you would have thought like what you got now have been like that would have been impossible. What do you mean food trucks and stuff like that? Like it's this awesome thing how just from I mean when we first started talking like a year ago where you were talking then and okay this is where we're at now and plans and goals and now it's getting elsewhere and it's getting to the fact that some of these ideas soon you're going to need some that almost bigger kind of sponsorship with some of the like corporations out there that are into the mental health, the physical well-beings, and the marrying of all those kinds of things like that. And I think it's not going to be hard for a charity to see how smart it is to put their time within you guys because it's just got there's so much heart to it, right? And it's building that building it for children to understand that you know you could be tough when you need to be tough, but then you can also break down to be vulnerable and talk about the times you had to be tough. And you can you can let it go and learn that, there's nothing wrong with going, hey, responding to that car accident really messed me up for X, Y, and Z reasons. On deployment, this happened. That messed me up. Even as talking with Diana stuff and farmers and some of the mental stress and stuff that they go through, and just what it takes to get food on our plates, right? And sometimes the bureaucracy and the hardships of making sure the necessities they need, whether it be their diesel, their fertilizer, all the, did the tires just blow out on the tractor, right? Like there's so much stress that comes involved, and especially with some of their things being global commodities, they that's the price. They have to make sure they get well under that in order to have a profit for next year. And so, yeah, I love the fact of getting to know you has gotten me to get to know her. And I can't wait to help out with Three Oaks Cabin and stuff like that. Like, it's really awesome just giving and then finding this amazing energy that comes back and hearing their story. And, we're going to be talking with other people and stuff like this with the show, and just keep kind of building this up and finding these different vendors and groups and people who've had experiences, and get that out there so other people can realize, like, oh, wow, that person's experience was very much like my own. They were in a bad place. They got help. They're now doing better, and now they can help people. And it shows people that path of, I can be dealing with it, suffering from it, learn how to deal with it with other people who've been through very similar situations, and then become that mentor on the other end for other people that are just coming in that pipeline of mental stress, PTSD, and everything. So it's just been fun doing that. And, maybe breaking here stuff for some people, but that Operation Talk to Me Johnny is expanding out here to BC.
Yes, so I've been fortunate enough to be able to relocate to BC, so in the process of doing that now, and it'll be a slow growth out there, but we are looking forward to seeing what we can do on the West Coast and really expand the brand and things like that. I think we've got good engagement generally on our social media from coast to coast, and I mean, the reality is, and this, Brian, but it's not just those of us in Ontario who are impacted by these losses. And so being able to spread that message across, to the West Coast and our friends out there, I think is going to be a really nice, way of growing the brand and helping people, as much as we can. One of the things that we're really excited about is some of the partnerships that we're starting to develop with various organizations. I'm forever meeting, different groups who are involved in mental health. And I was speaking with somebody and they're like, well, we're a youth mental health organization. What does that have to do with veterans and first responders? And I said to them, like, do you think that the things these people see only impact the individual? Because, that it comes home with them, and then that impacts family life, and then that family life impacts children. But also, it's really important that kids these days are taking care of their mental health and learning about mental wellness and what that means, because they're tomorrow's everyday heroes. They're tomorrow's firefighters and military and police and paramedics. And so if we're really going to take a look at how we help veterans and first responders, we can't only focus on, the things that are needed today, but we have to be looking ahead and being proactive to what will work for tomorrow's everyday heroes and making sure that they're in a good place. And I think that's, one of the things that we're really trying to do by building the community event around families, because mental health really affects everybody in a family unit, no matter how much you tried to hide it, or how much you try to struggle with it alone, or how much you feel alone in the moment. It really is impacting every single person within that family unit. And so being able to to bring families together and talk about it as an everyday thing, while, enjoying family time and having a bit of fun. And I mean, I'm probably going to have a butterfly painted on my face again this year, because why not? If you can't be five on a family fun day, then, you're not trying hard enough. So I think it's really important that we think about, not only what can we be doing for today's veterans and first responders, but if we want to stop the cycle, we have to stop it with today's children. And so building that up is really important. And I'd like to see how we can start to have those same conversations out west. But I was chatting with a youth mental wellness facility just the other day in Guelph area. They're introducing me to somebody here locally in Sarnia, so that hopefully they can be part of the May 30th event. And he's like, well, I love this. And, if we can't help them, we probably know somebody in other provinces or things like that. And being able to be that resource, I have my own mental health challenges. And, I'm trying to figure out how to be an adult most of the time. So I can't help you with your mental health challenges. But what I can do is help put you in touch with the right people who can. And by building those partnerships and gaining this credibility that we're starting to gain and working with various organizations, we're really starting to build a really good resource log of who we can refer people to.
I see you having a lot of success out here in BC and Vancouver, the lower mainland, Fraser Valley, because it's just kind of that is just kind of everyone makes fun of how Vancouver's so much like that. But it's sometimes people are ahead of the curve with certain things and understanding that if you nip the problems that mental health has in the bud early, you save so much later on with crime and other things like that, because people fall through the cracks. They had these problems. So I think, getting people comfortable with, hey, what's wrong? Hey, this happened. And it could be, I mean, for some people, what's minor is another person's end of the world.
Yeah,
And they don't know
absolutely.
how to deal with it just for whatever reason. And breaking that stigma of actually needing to ask for help, it's just such a powerful thing where people do it. So yeah, I think there's so many organizations and businesses and corporations that if they'll love to start helping out with this stuff, because again, this is a very powerful message, looking after the first responders, but also looking after their family members, their kids, and just other people in the community, because mental health can strike anybody at any time. On Tuesday you're having the best day in the world, and Wednesday afternoon you get some of the most devastating news, or something happens and your life is turned upside down, and there was no planning for it. There's no prepping for when disaster happens in your life. It just happens. And to get more of this out there, so when people do have those falls, it's just simple to find that help, because those nets have been starting to get built by various organizations, and these organizations are coming together realizing, what do you do? Okay, well, we do this and this, and that group over there covers that. And if we get together, we start covering a bigger demographic of people. So, and again, that's what you guys are doing with, finding all these groups and vendors and different mental health organizations and different charities. And everyone's got their own thing, but there's one thing in common: helping those with mental health problems, finding a solution that they can get that next step forward.
Yeah, and I think one of the important things for us is making sure that we've got a variety of different types of resources. Um, you know, we know that the same thing isn't necessarily going to work for everyone. And that's why I'm particularly excited about the yoga and the meditation. And I know a lot of people will think it's foo-foo or whatever, but breathing is such a powerful thing. And if you are doing it properly, and have some idea of how to do it, to reduce stress or energize yourself, or just calm yourself generally, I think it can be such a powerful tool, at least in a moment, right? Is it going to solve your problems? No, but is it going to keep you calm enough to be able to get to the next step? Yes, potentially. And so being able to introduce those things, I think, is really important. And, these things wouldn't be possible without some of our corporate sponsors. As a nonprofit, I typically don't solicit donations because we can't give charitable receipts. Um, but so corporate sponsorships is really where we get the majority of our money from. And we've been very fortunate that some of the local legions, Sarnia Branch 62, and the Legion here in Corunna, whose number I forget, but the Legion in Corunna have been huge supporters of ours. And so that's been great. And then some of the union halls are really fantastic. We're thankful to welcome the Pipe Fitters Union this year as a sergeant level sponsor, which is our highest corporate sponsor level. And and just seeing some of the support that we've gotten from the local community and the local businesses. We've got a few businesses who give a bit less, but I can count on them every single year to give the same amount. And, they are just as important to the cause and the mission as somebody who chips in, one time for a few thousand, right? So we're so fortunate that the message is resonating with some of the local businesses and things like that. We've got, excellent engagement from various organizations across the community, and it's because of them that we are able to support organizations like Three Oaks Cabin and this year Battle Buddies, who I know you're going to be speaking with Rob on another show, but being able to do those things and, help farmers who are very likely volunteer firefighters in rural communities, um, and get dogs out to people who need them for PTSI or OSI related injuries is so important. And so being able to contribute to that is a big thing for us. But also, this year we introduced, or like 2025, I guess, we introduced our first scholarship. So we've done our Sergeant John R. Little Memorial Scholarship over at Petrolia High School, which is where we all went to school. And it's for somebody going into a caring field or into a helping field. So anything from, social work or medical to, of course, military and first responders. And this year, our recipient is going into, I believe, be a paramedic. So, it's really nice to be able to give back to the community in John's name and build that legacy up, because, he really believed in community and he really believed in helping others. And I think that it's so important to be able to find ways to do that while also getting really loud about our story and our message that you do not have to fight alone.
I love that. And I'm just so excited to be able to help in any way I can. And you keep finding the vendors and the people, and I'm going to keep interviewing them, get their story out there. And we're just going to keep expanding this. And, 10 years, who knows where this is going to be, how many provinces will have little ambassadors all over the place helping spread the word and getting all the little city stuff like that. And I think you're going to start seeing that too, where there's going to be a lot more people wanting to be that ambassador type person where, hey, I served here or whatever, just somebody who's, hey, my dad, mom served, or I just want to help. And I think you're going to start seeing that this next little bit of people being like, I'm here in Edmonton, I'm here in Saskatoon. What can I do to start generating this out here as well and start building up this net for everyone? And just, again, I see the ball. Once Canadians know something exists, Canadians are big in helping and doing stuff. So I see, I see just, you know, yeah, I'm just, sometimes it's just speechless because you just see the awesomeness that's going to come from this and the help. and talking with Diane and how the Three Oaks helped three people, and it's just like, that's amazing. That would be three people that we wouldn't have anymore had they not gone to Three Oaks, gotten the help, and then, continued on with their journey of continuing that help. Right. And, you know, that was impactful for her to know that that's three people that cabin helped save by giving them that little refuge and a little place to kind of decompress from whatever their trauma was.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been to that cabin. Diane gave us a tour last year, and what a fantastic spot that is. I really highly encourage any first responders or farmers to check it out. And, if you need to get away for a couple of days, absolutely do that. It's extremely affordable at, I think, $20 or something, some, nominal registration fee. And some of the things that you get out of that weekend or those couple of days there is just phenomenal. But oh man, I'd like to live in that cabin if I could, because it is stunning.
Mhm. Well, Lisa, thank you so much. And we'll talk again because this will be Operation
Yeah,
Talk to
just
Me
before
Johnny
we
show. So, oh, yes. What else?
just before we sign off, I do want to say this year we are also introducing some signage that will be, subtly put around the fairgrounds to honor those that we have lost. So we do have a sign for John, of course, and then a few others. Just a picture and their name and dates, and then thanking them for their whichever service it is, and honoring their life. And so if there is anybody that we haven't already spoken to who would like to honor a loved one that's passed and who was, in the military or a first responder, we would love to hear from you and get your information and include them on one of our signs.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And we're going to talk again after this.
Of course, yes.
And yeah, there's more people lined up for me to interview. I'm so excited to get their story out there. And for anybody out there who's having a mental health journey, please reach out and get the help you need. We need you in our life. So thank you for listening. Lisa, talk to you soon.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay. Bye bye.